What does it mean to have a spiritual practice? To walk a spiritual path in an intentional way? This is Granny Maggie from Granny Magick, as always, honoring your magic. People pay for portions of my time, and then I prepare and I do a reading for them. And for me, it's a little bit of a sacred contract between the client and myself. So when I read for somebody, I understand that not everybody is following some type of spiritual practice. And I do have clients who express heavy doubt in spite of recounting all the spiritual signs and synchronicities they've experienced that line up precisely with what their guides are telling them in the cards. Even though to be a spiritual practitioner doesn't mean you're practicing every day, all the time, that everything you do has to be energetically aligned and focused and intentional. But at the same time, just owning crystals in your home, just occasionally kind of saying a prayer in your mind and then wondering why you're not getting results, why you aren't feeling that presence from the other side, that you're actually not cultivating. Do get messages from people who say, I tried this, I tried that, magic's not real. Magic is a shorthand way of identifying of ways of living and aligning. We have a spiritual connection that improves our lives. And of course, we have angels all the time working on our side. Many people have contact with the other side. But for some people, it takes a little bit more intentionality. I don't just sit down to do a reading and hope for the best. I spend a good amount of time preparing silently. And I go out and I cut flowers from the garden. I cut rosemary. I cut the wormwood. I arrange them in a way that kind of creates a circle of energy. I find things where the scent will draw those loving spirits in. I choose crystals, not just for aesthetics, but because they help me align with the energy from the other side. I create a portal with clean water, quartz crystal. I light a candle just to give them that extra energy. I want them to find it easy to come through. I want to nurture a two-way exchange and relationship. All these things I do intentionally. It's part of the process. It aligns my energy. I feel uplifted because I've set an environment that energetically supports what I'm doing. So I suppose it takes a little bit of faith and trust that if you do get a reading or you start to practice, that you do some of the physical things that really align you and your energy, that if it's not easy for you to experience that presence, it's a beginning for you. It does take some effort. And while you don't have to constantly setting up things like this, there are times where you're on a threshold and you need to align and boost that energy so that you begin that relationship working with the other side. It's because the universe understands action, energy, vibration. It all needs to be aligned with your intention, and you really need that focus. So I'm really thinking about ways to assist clients to understand what it is to begin a spiritual practice without having to be dogmatic about it, with finding ways to do that are comfortable to them. It can even be sitting out in a place in the garden where perhaps you have some flowers. I always think of my mother around the roses. I can feel her energy. She loved roses and rose bushes. But if you're trying that and it's not working yet, maybe you need to step it up a little bit and try some of the things that have worked for other people. And if you're somebody who finds themselves in that kind of a position where you're on a threshold, but something's holding you back, most important step, taking action in trust and faith and being part of the alignment and the process. No matter what the result, you learn from it, you refine it. The universe sees you're open to it. That's a spiritual practice. It doesn't even need to look like this. Many blessings.